Guys, welcome back to the channel. So what you can expect from this video is how I do detailed sewing of upper part of this particular dress. So in this upper part I have kept potli buttons in the front. Back is not open, it is on fold, and later I have attached the sleeves and sleeve with the cuff and potli buttons, but I'm not including that in this video. I will just include the front part potlies and how I finish the entire neckline and front hook and eye. So let's go for the video part, doing the rough drawing for the client to understand how I'm going to actually put the things together. Before starting for sewing, I have already dipped my lining, which I'm using 2x2 cotton lining, and I'm using slub cotton fabric for the main dress. I'm going to make a twinning dress for the mother and the daughter. So for the daughter dress, approximately 1 meter fabric is required, and rest of the fabric I'm going to use for the mother's dress. If you want to make such dress, you require 3 meter of fabric, as I'm going to do pleating at the waist for the bottom part, so approximately 3. But if you are going to do some umbrella cut at the bottom, then you require 3.5 meter of fabric. Fabric consumption is really dependent on the length of the dress. So the slub cotton fabric is really very smooth cotton fabric which will drape very nicely at the bottom part. What and all you require to cut is the back part with on fold, and front which will be open. There you are going to put hook and eye, your sleeves, and your bottom part with box pleats. I'm just roughly drawing what and all I have to cut. So one interesting thing I will say, if you see the first picture of the waist, if you keep yoke length till there, you slightly look slimmer at the yoke length, which comes exactly below the bust point 3 inches. And for a shorter woman, it will give a little height as well. So the total dress length is 48, and I'm keeping the yoke length is 14.5 inches. So my back was pre-prepared, and now I have done the front part for the princess line. Now cutting off the front part and separating the princess line. Now we will cut on the lining fabric. Lining you must deep and iron before cutting, so that it will be like a pre-shrinked form. Cutting by keeping the margin required at the armhole and the bottom. And shoulder I had already included in the body, so not required. Same as back, I am cutting the front part as well, and you have to keep a little margin for the princess line attachment. So once you see after cutting, here I have kept 0.5 inches, and same we will do for the side panel as well. And don't forget to give a small notch so that the same point we will match with the side panel while stitching. I'm running through the tracing wheel on the neckline so that I can duplicate on both the sides. So the turn for the side panel we will cut for 0.5 margin for attaching with the front panel. Here all the pieces are ready on the lining. We will cut now on the main fabric, which is this yellow color slub cotton fabric. I keep saying in my all videos that you should always iron your fabric before cutting so that you get that crisp good finishing. Mark and straight the rough edge, and you can place your back on it, and you can leave a 0.5 distance and cut your fabric. Same way we will cut the front side panels and middle part as well, which is not on fold, which is open. Once all the parts are cut on the main fabric, you can attach the pieces together by sewing. So we start with the back part, and I am just placing on the wrong side, and I will sew around the edges. Maybe 1 foot distance will be okay. Can cut off the extra fabric. After that, you can mark the dart, length and stitching line, and secure it by sewing twice on each dart. Iron the darts very neatly so that it becomes like totally invisible in face side. Same like back, we will attach front parts together. According to the requirement of the neck width and depth, you can take the canvas and you can keep on fold for the back, as the back is not open, and mark it. I am putting a 2-inch facing for the back and front. So the front side is open in the dress, so I'm keeping like without fold on this, and again 2-inch facing marking. Try to cut facing very smoothly so it will lay very nicely on the neck. Both the side facings are ready. Now I will stick it on the lining fabric for neck finishing further. Each facing keep 0.5 distance so we can sew on the neck, and we can fold the edges. After sewing, it will look like this. I will start attaching facing on the back side. You can sew it just like that, or else you can pin it for keeping it at its place. And keep the 0.5 distance and cut off the neckline. I am giving notches for smoother finishing on neck. I am turning the facing inside, and I will iron on it. So the back is all ready. Now it's done for the front, and I will attach the facing and again notches and iron again. In the design, we have the front portly buttons. I'm showing a small DIY how I did it. You need cotton and a little water. We will take a little bit of cotton and we will pinch it, and we will roll it by sticking a little bit of water in our finger and making a small ball. And now this ball we will put in the fabric, and we will make a portly by knotting it by thread. For the front side, I want 17 to 18 portlies. So I will roll the balls like this for 17 to 18 times. Or maybe 2 or 3 I can make more if in case I may require more. So measure at the front pattern by keeping at a straight line. Now can start making portlies like this. I want to highlight one thing, that the portlies which you are making, the ends where you are tying, it should be little in the air so that while stitching it may not trouble you. Set the piping foot on the machine. So I have right-handed piping foot which I am attaching to the machine, and excuse me about the lighting here, but basically I tried to put my camera here to show you exactly how I'm attaching the portlies. Right hand side the portlies should come, and leave the half-inch gap at the bottom and start putting the portlies and start stitching. Earlier the gap I said about the tying, it is helpful here. As you see, I can do relaxedly stitching on this portlies side. Do make sure of the placement of the portlies. It should have an exact distance from each other. You can directly stitch on it, but I recommend ironing. So ironing will make it very flat looking, and it will have that shape of a button. Try to flatten up this end part of the portlies so it may not give bulgier look in the front. I'm taking this 2-inch tape and attaching on this portlies, and I will finish it for the front. So have a look how I'm finishing it. Later I'm gonna do hemming here inside, and ironing is the key for good finishing. So the below the portly I'm gonna put the hooks, and now I'm making the hook patti, or else you can call eye patti. So this 0.5 gap I had kept to attach with the skirt part. And you can attach the side panels, matching the notches, and you can complete the princess line for the front. It is a cotton dress, and for a good finishing, to iron at every stage is very important. So finally the front part is all ready. Now we will attach front and back shoulders. Make sure you are attaching it on the margin line, and later after that you can turn the facing inside, and you can iron on the neckline to give a good finishing. Front and back are attached, and everything is ready. Now it's time for the sleeves. Sleeves are something we later decided to put, so I haven't drawn in the drawing, but I have made. We will completely sew the sides for the upper part of this dress. And after stitching I will turn it inside out, and later it looks something like this. So whenever I put any side stitching on any garment, I try to measure the length, armholes and width at every place, so that I make sure that the fitting will be correct later. You can correctly measure the waist, so according to the waist we have to make the skirt part as well. Now we will go further for sewing of the skirt part. Skirt part is not really I'm gonna show here, but my purpose was to show you the upper part stitching, but however a few blinks. Placing the back draft, I'm drawing a skirt. I will put the darts as well on the skirt in front and back. So here the length will be minus of your yoke length, and attachment will be like this. Over this lining I'm going to put one main fabric box pleats. So in future videos I will try to show how I'm doing the box pleats, but here I have already sewn. after stitching the dress, I keep really the hemline pending until the client tries. So I'm finishing the hook and eye in the dress. So both the dresses are ready, as you see. So if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe.